I'm Casey, and this isn't some made-up tale. This happened to me 6 years ago when I was 24, living alone in a weathered cottage I'd rented on the edge of a sleepy rural town. It was a quirky little place, crooked walls, a tin roof that pinged in the rain, nestled against a dense pine forest that seemed to lean in after dark. I'd always been a loner, happy with my quiet nights sketching or streaming movies after shifts at the diner. That night, though, it was early March, raw and damp, I felt the solitude shift into something heavier. Around 8 p.m. I was curled up with a sketch pad, the wood stove crackling when the lights flickered. Just once, but enough to make the room feel dimmer than it should. I brushed it off, the place had old wiring. Then I heard it, a soft tap like a knuckle on wood from the front porch. I froze, pencil hovering. Tap, tap, tap. Steady, patient, like someone waiting for me to notice. I lived alone, miles from neighbors. No one dropped by unannounced. I set the sketch pad down, heart picking up, and listened. It didn't stop. I'm not the type to jump at shadows, but that tapping gnawed at me. I grabbed a flashlight, my phone was charging in the kitchen, and tiptoed to the front door, peering through the dusty curtain. The porch was empty, just a rocking chair swaying faintly in the breeze, though the air outside looked still. The tapping paused as I got close, then started again, sharper now, from the living room window. I spun around, flashlight beam jittering across the glass. Nothing. No figure, no branches brushing the pane, just fog pressing in thick and white. I checked the locks, all solid, but the sound kept moving. Kitchen window, back door, bedroom, like it was circling me. My pulse hammered. I yelled, "Who's out there?" Pointless, but I needed to break the quiet. No answer, just a low scrape like something dragging along the outer wall. I grabbed a kitchen knife, hands sweaty, and that's when I heard it. A creak from the crawlspace under the house, slow and deliberate, like weight shifting on old beams. I'd never gone down there, too cramped, too dark, but something was. I stood there, knife trembling, staring at the floorboards like they'd split open. The creaking stopped, but the silence felt alive, buzzing in my ears. The crawlspace hatch was in the hall closet, a square panel I'd covered with a rug and forgotten about. I pulled the rug back, dust puffing up, and lifted the hatch, hinges squealing, cold air rushing out with a damp, earthy stink. My flashlight barely cut the black. The beam shook as I aimed it down. Dirt floor, cobwebs, pipes snaking along the walls, nothing else. I almost laughed, nerves fraying, but then I heard it, a faint, raspy hum like someone exhaling through a clogged throat deep in the shadows. I leaned closer, stupidly curious, and the hum stopped. A thud, sharp, close, echoed up like a fist hitting the dirt. I jerked back, dropping the flashlight. It rolled, beam spinning, and caught something. A hand, pale and bony, reaching from the far corner before vanishing. My scream stuck in my throat. I slammed the hatch, dragged the rug back, and piled books on top, babbling to myself that it was a rat, a trick of the light, anything but what I'd seen. I stumbled to the living room, knife still in hand, trying to breathe. The tapping started again, louder, faster, on every window at once, like a dozen hands pounding to get in. The lights flickered, then died, plunging me into darkness. My flashlight was gone, but my phone flared on, 15% battery, no bars. The tapping stopped, and a new sound took its place. A slow, wet shuffle, right beneath my feet, under the floorboards. I backed against the wall, knife raised, as the shuffle circled below me, kitchen, hall, back to the living room, like it was tracking me. The wood stove hissed, flames guttering low, and the air turned icy, my breath clouding. Then the closet door, the one with the hatch, creaked open inch by inch, books sliding off with soft thumps. I ran to it, slamming it shut, but something pushed back, hardwood splintering under my hands. A laugh, low, gurgling, came from the other side, and I felt the door vibrate like fingers brushing it. My phone buzzed, screen lighting up, and I saw it through the crack. Eyes too big, too bright, staring up from the crawlspace, unblinking. I bolted for the front door, yanking it open, and ran into the night. I didn't stop running, barefoot, fog swallowing me, until I hit the highway a good 2 miles out. A gas station clerk found me, shivering and ranting, and called a friend to pick me up. I stayed on their couch that night, too rattled to explain. The next day I went back with a cop, just to grab my stuff. The house looked normal, lights on, stove cold, hatch closed. No scratches, no handprints, nothing. But the rug was off-center, and the crawlspace smelled wrong, sour, like rot. I didn't look down there, I couldn't. I moved to an apartment in town, surrounded by noise and people, and never went back. The cottage sat empty after me, renters came and went, none lasting a month. I still sketch, but my hands shake sometimes and I don't draw faces anymore. Those eyes stick with me, too real, too wrong. Some nights, I hear that gurgling laugh, faint like it's carried on the wind. I keep every light on, check the locks twice, but I know it's out there, waiting for me to be alone again, waiting to finish whatever it started that night.